Imagine a world where every accomplishment, every accolade, and every milestone didn't dictate success, where the chase for the next big thing didn't overshadow the journey. What if the true essence of success was far removed from what society has conditioned us to believe? Dive in as we unravel a perspective that might just change the way you see success, and consequently your entire life. In the expansive realm of philosophy and psychology, we've ventured through topics that challenge our perceptions, question our beliefs, and prod at the very essence of our existence. From the intricacies of human behavior to the existential debates of purpose, this channel has always been a haven for those in pursuit of deeper understanding. And today, as always, we'll embark on another enlightening exploration. Many of us define success by the badges of honor society places on certain achievements, whether it's climbing the corporate ladder, owning luxurious items, or even achieving fleeting moments of fame on social media platforms. But what if success isn't about the destination, the attainment of these badges, but more about the journey? What if it's about how you navigate the path, the intentions you set, and the ideals you chase? This leads us to the heart of today's discussion, a quote that captures a perspective so profound, yet so simple. The great Earl Nightingale, a man known for his deep dives into human character and motivation, once said, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal." At first glance, this might seem like just another inspirational quote we might find on the backdrop of a scenic sunrise on Instagram. But as with many profound truths, its simplicity is deceptive. Instead of viewing success as a destination, a point we reach after traversing hardships, Nightingale offers us a perspective where success is the journey itself. It's in every step taken towards something you deem worthy, every moment you're in alignment with your ideals, and every day you wake up with purpose, passion, and perseverance. But why is this viewpoint revolutionary? And why does it matter more today than ever before? In today's rapidly changing world, traditional benchmarks of success are evolving, if not entirely disintegrating. The house, the car, the corner office. While all these still hold value, the younger generations in particular are seeking something more, something intangible. They're seeking purpose, fulfillment, and a sense of belonging in a world that's hyper-connected, yet often isolating. Moreover, the digital age, with its relentless pace and endless comparisons, often leaves individuals feeling perpetually inadequate. The goalposts for success constantly shift. By the time you achieve one goal, a new one emerges on the horizon, often accompanied by a sense of emptiness. But what if the real fulfillment was in the journey towards the goal, rather than the goal itself? Nightingale's perspective offers relief from this treadmill of endless pursuit. It offers a moment to pause, reflect, and realign. It speaks to a deeper, intrinsic human need, the need for purpose, for growth, and for a journey that matters. As we dive into this topic today, I invite you to embark on this journey with us, to question, reflect, and perhaps redefine your understanding of success. This isn't just about a quote. It's about a mindset, a way of life, and a perspective that can shape our world for the better. Join me as we unpack the layers of this profound statement, explore its roots in philosophy and psychology, and understand how it can be a beacon of clarity in the often confusing maze of modern life. Let's pivot now to what society often feeds us as the formula for success. Walk into any bookstore and you'll see shelves filled with self-help books preaching the gospel of success. These usually advocate for a straightforward path: excel in school, land a high-paying job, achieve promotions, buy a house, get married. The list goes on. The mantra seems to be, accumulate more, achieve more, and you will be more. The spotlight often shines on material wealth as the most glaring indicator of success. We live in a world where billionaires are idolized and the accumulation of assets is glorified. To some extent, material success has even been democratically crowned as the ultimate life goal. After all, doesn't wealth grant us the freedom and opportunities that we so fervently chase? But let's pause here for a second. Does financial prosperity guarantee happiness? More importantly, does it equate to success in the holistic sense? Nightingale would argue that it does not, especially if the acquisition of wealth is misaligned with what you truly consider to be a worthy ideal. Next in line is the notion of social status. The memberships to elite clubs, the high-profile connections, the social media following, and the admiration, if not envy, of your peers. These are often seen as markers of a life well lived. Social status and the esteem of others have been deeply ingrained in human psychology for millennia. Our ancestors needed social cohesion for survival, but today this primitive need has been extrapolated to heights that can often be disorienting. The relentless pursuit of status can morph into a Sisyphean task, where the boulder of social expectation keeps rolling back no matter how hard we push. Another glittering emblem on the sash of conventional success is career achievement. Titles, promotions, and accolades, these are the milestones that punctuate the traditional road to success. We've all heard the rags to riches tales of individuals climbing the corporate ladder with determination and grit. While these stories can serve as inspiration, they also propagate a limited perspective. The career-focused vision of success often neglects other realms of life, such as personal well-being, family, and broader societal contributions. So why are these definitions problematic? For starters, they're not universally applicable. What might be a milestone of success for one person could be entirely inconsequential for another. This one-size-fits-all approach doesn't just lack nuance, it can be actively harmful. Imagine the young adult who, despite a burgeoning career, feels an inexplicable emptiness because they've pursued a field for its lucrative prospects rather than its alignment with their passions. Think of the entrepreneur who amasses wealth but loses invaluable connections with family and friends. Picture the social media influencer who, despite thousands of likes and followers, grapples with loneliness and anxiety behind the screen. The repercussions extend into the realm of mental health. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Abnormal Psychology reported increasing rates of depression and psychological distress among young adults in the United States. While several factors contribute to this rising tide, one element that cannot be ignored is the stress and anxiety stemming from societal expectations around success. When we're continuously chasing a mirage crafted by collective norms, the resulting dissonance between reality and expectation can cultivate a breeding ground for mental health issues like anxiety and depression. In some cases, the pursuit of these conventional markers of success can lead to burnout, a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged stress. It's no surprise that burnout is being increasingly recognized by health organizations as a legitimate medical condition.
Most people don't know what success is all about. And since they don't know what it's about, they really don't know where to look for it. Success is really nothing more than the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. This means that any person who knows what he's doing and where he's going is a success. Any person with a goal toward which he's working is a successful person. This means that the boy in high school who's working toward a diploma, or the boy in college toward a degree, is just as successful as any human being on earth, because he knows what he's doing, why he's getting up in the morning, and where he's going. But conversely, if a person doesn't know what he's working toward, what it is he wants, doesn't have a goal toward which he's working, then he must, at least by this definition, be called unsuccessful. Why isn't then, with this simple definition, why isn't everyone successful? Should be easy. Yet surveys indicate that 19 out of 20 95% at least are not. In fact, a survey one time asked thousands of working men why they got up in the morning and went to work, and 19 out of 20 didn't know. 19 out of 20 working people didn't have the foggiest notion of why they got up in the morning and went to work. Under closer questioning, they said, well, everybody works. Well, that would be a good reason to quit. In fact, here's a little rule of thumb you might want to remember. Whatever the great majority is doing under any given circumstance, if you do exactly the opposite, you'll probably never make another mistake as long as you live. Just something to keep in the back of your mind.
By starting with a discussion of conventional success markers, we set the stage for the groundbreaking philosophy that Earl Nightingale presented. We expose the chinks in the armor of a societal construct that many have accepted without question, and from here, we can begin to explore alternative frameworks and attitudes that offer not just a more balanced life, but a profoundly fulfilling one. This is where the progressive realization of a worthy ideal comes into its own as a life philosophy, bringing us a model of success that is both timeless and, in many ways, revolutionary. As we veer away from the limiting parameters of conventional success, let's delve into the psychological frameworks that provide a more holistic understanding of success. After all, psychology doesn't merely study pathology or dysfunction. It also investigates what makes life most worth living. That includes success, however one may define it. To start, let's consider Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Picture a pyramid divided into layers, with the most basic human needs like food and shelter at the bottom, and self-actualization, a state of achieving one's full potential and realizing one's capabilities, at the top. Maslow's theory tells us that we can't focus on higher-level goals until our basic needs are met. Once they are, we can aim for self-esteem needs, like achievement and respect, and finally, strive for self-actualization. Doesn't Maslow's apex sound a lot like what Nightingale referred to as a worthy ideal? Both propose that true success involves fulfilling our highest potential. Importantly, Maslow introduces the idea that what constitutes a worthy ideal might be different at various stages of our lives, depending on which level of the hierarchy we are working to fulfill. This idea liberates us from a static, one-size-fits-all definition of success. Let's build on this with a discussion about motivation, an area in psychology that has significantly evolved over the past decades. Traditional theories often emphasize extrinsic motivation, which is driven by external rewards or punishments. These rewards can range from monetary benefits to social praise, and are usually what conventional views of success focus on. However, the psychological discourse has seen a shift towards the importance of intrinsic motivation, that which comes from within, independent of external rewards. Think of a painter lost in the world of colors and shapes, a musician engrossed in melodies, or even a researcher fueled by pure curiosity. They are motivated by the activity itself, and the success in these activities is inherently satisfying. This brings us back to Nightingale's statement. Success, when seen as the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, aligns beautifully with the concept of intrinsic motivation. It's not the external rewards, but the inner fulfillment that defines success here. And intrinsic motivation doesn't just make us happier. Research indicates that it enhances performance, perseverance, and overall well-being. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling, who endured multiple rejections and hardships before publishing the Harry Potter series. What kept her going? It was not the lure of future fame or money. It was her intrinsic motivation, her desire to tell a story she believed in. Now, decades later, it's clear that her worthy ideal wasn't just about writing a bestseller. It was about creating a world that resonated with millions. Here, both intrinsic motivation and the worthy ideal mesh into a beautiful tapestry of what we could consider success. So what does the world stand to gain by shifting its focus from extrinsic to intrinsic motivators? Imagine businesses valuing employees not just for their output, but their creativity. Educational systems that nurture individual capabilities instead of standardizing knowledge, and a society that appreciates people for who they are rather than what they have. This isn't just idealistic pondering, it's a model supported by decades of research in human psychology. When we talk about the psychology of success, we are inherently discussing the psychology of well-being. They are two sides of the same coin. Studies have shown that intrinsic motivation not only elevates personal performance, but also contributes to mental health. And this is the juncture where psychology lends scientific credence to Nightingale's definition of success. As we weave through these psychological theories, we'll find that they not only illuminate but also validate Nightingale's wisdom. His definition beckons us to focus on a holistic, fulfilling, and above all individualized understanding of success, one that nourishes the mind as much as it fuels ambition. And isn't that what we all are ultimately striving for? So the next time you find yourself questioning your path or feeling confined by society's narrow definitions of success, remember this. Success is not just about reaching a destination, but also about enjoying the journey, especially when it's directed towards realizing an ideal you hold worthy. As we transition from psychology, let's now immerse ourselves in the deep waters of philosophy to gain another perspective on success. Philosophy and its myriad frameworks offer us not just wisdom, but also a historical context. It's like looking at a map of human thought on the concept of a successful or good life. Let's start by stepping back a few millennia to ancient Greece. Philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle grappled with the concept of the good life or eudaimonia, often interpreted as happiness or flourishing. For Aristotle, eudaimonia was intrinsically tied to virtue and reasoned contemplation. A life dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge, the practice of virtue, and the development of character constituted a life well lived. Here we see remarkable parallels with Nightingale's worthy ideal. For Aristotle, the worthy ideal was a virtuous character and the rational activity that emanated from it. The pursuit itself, the active engagement with virtue and wisdom, constituted the good life. There was no endpoint, only a continuous striving, a progressive realization, if you will, which is strikingly similar to what Nightingale proposed. We also see this in Stoicism, a philosophy that originated in Greece but gained widespread influence in Rome through philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. For the Stoics, success was about cultivating inner tranquility through the mastery of one's desires and emotional responses. Stoicism urges us to focus on what we can control, our actions and attitudes, rather than external events. This autonomy of inner life aligns with Nightingale's idea of personal responsibility in achieving a worthy ideal. As we fast forward to more modern times, existentialism offers another riveting lens through which to examine success. Existentialist philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus argued that life has no inherent meaning. Instead, individuals must create their own essence through their actions and choices. In other words, you're responsible for the goals you set and the worthy ideals you pursue. This philosophy compels us to confront our freedoms and the inherent responsibilities that come with them. We are free to define our worthy ideal and thereby our own version of success. But this freedom also mandates that we bear the burden of these choices. We can't outsource our life's meaning to society's shifting values or ephemeral trends. This ties back elegantly to Nightingale's assertion that the pursuit of a personally defined, worthy ideal constitutes success. Let's not forget that philosophy isn't solely the purview of the Western world. Eastern philosophies like Buddhism, Taoism, and the Hindu concept of Dharma also grapple with what makes a life worthy. These philosophies often focus on the concept of balance, harmony, and interconnectedness, adding another layer of complexity to our exploration. While the worthy ideal in these traditions might involve transcending the self, the community, or even the material world, they also provide various roadmaps to what could be considered a successful life. So why delve into philosophy when discussing a seemingly practical topic like success? Because it allows us to step back and ask more fundamental questions. What kind of life is worth living? What should one strive for? What constitutes a good or successful life in the first place? These questions remind us that the idea of success is deeply rooted in philosophical thought, and through the ages, thinkers have presented diverse yet complementary paths to arrive at a fulfilling life. It's crucial to acknowledge that these philosophies aren't mutually exclusive. They can coexist and even complement each other in enriching our understanding of success. So whether it's the virtuous life of Aristotle, the Stoic focus on inner peace, or the existential freedom of creating our own meaning, each offers a piece of the puzzle. And like Nightingale, they all seem to whisper in unison, success is not a destination but a journey, a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. After swimming through the ocean of psychology and trekking through the mountainous terrain of philosophy, let's now focus the lens directly onto the heart of Nightingale's definition, the worthy ideal. This term, although seemingly self-explanatory, is like an onion, revealing more layers the more we peel it back.
We know that he works 40 hours a week as a rule. 40 hours a week, which leaves him 72 hours a week when he's neither working nor sleeping. 72 free, discretionary hours each week to do with as he pleases. At this point, of course, he's married, he has his little house and his little car. And this is about what he does with his free 72 hours every week. He'll do what the other fellows are doing with their free 72 hours every week, which is virtually nothing at all. On a typical day, he'll quit right on the dot, get in his little car, go to his little house, go in his little kitchen, kiss his little wife and say, "I'm tired." They've even figured out why he says that. The experts believe that he used to hear his father say that back when men used to get tired working during the day, and he picked it up and he repeats this every night when he gets home. He bolts his little meal and then heads for the living room where he turns on his escape box. Click. But he sits there for 6.5 hours until finally his wife, who's a little more practical than he is, claps him on the shoulder and she said, "Charlie, I think it's about time you went to bed. You've got to get up in the morning and go to work." And he's okay, and he shuts it off. He knows how to do that. He just shuts it off and goes to bed. Next morning he gets up and he does this all over again. He does this every day for 40 years. At the end of 40 years, he's retired, which always kind of catches him by surprise. No one's ever figured that one out either. And then he dies at 85 or 90, the way medical science is moving us along, out of sheer boredom. Well, what's the problem? Is there a tragedy here? Not really, if that's the way Charlie wants to spend his life, our mythical, hypothetical young man. If he wants to spend his life that way, that's his business. He lives in a free society, he can do anything with it he wants. But there's a terrible tragedy here if he's living that way because of the total lack of a decision. If he's living that way simply because he's still doing what he was doing in the first and second grade, and that's going along with the fellas up and down the block on the unspoken assumption that they know how to live, then there's a real tragedy there. Because they've never known how to live, not in all the recorded history of mankind. He never finds out who he is. He never reaches into the deep depths of his abilities, his talents. He never learns that he can have just about anything he wants in the world, that he can call his own shots, tell his own fortune. And it's kind of a pity.
Let's begin with the vast cultural landscapes that shape our notions of what a worthy ideal might entail. Consider the American dream, deeply entrenched in the culture of the United States, where life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are celebrated ideals. Here, a worthy ideal often manifests as social mobility, financial security, and individual freedom. Now contrast this with a collectivist society like Japan, where social harmony, or wa, takes precedence. Here, a worthy ideal might be contributing to society and maintaining social equilibrium, even if it comes at the cost of individual ambitions or desires. In cultures deeply rooted in spiritual traditions, such as parts of India or Tibet, a worthy ideal may focus on spiritual enlightenment and the well-being of the community, rather than personal material gain. Each culture, with its unique history, values, and social constructs, molds what its inhabitants may regard as a worthy ideal. But culture is just one part of the puzzle. As individuals, we all have our unique blend of experiences, beliefs, and values. What may be a worthy ideal for one person may not hold the same gravitas for another. A musician might find their worthy ideal in creating an original composition that stirs the soul, while an environmental activist might see it in effective climate advocacy. Worthy ideals can be mutable. As we grow and learn, our understanding of what is worthy can and often does shift. The business person who once found success in scaling a company might later find a new worthy ideal in philanthropy or mentoring the next generation. Now, why is defining a worthy ideal so crucial? Well, the ideals you pursue set the trajectory for your life's course. Think of them as the North Star guiding your actions, decisions, and pursuits. When your personal ideals are in alignment with your long-term life objectives, there's a sense of coherence and purpose in what you do. This alignment is not just ethereal or abstract. It has practical implications. Studies have shown that alignment between personal values and life goals contributes to greater well-being and can even have a protective factor against stress and life's inevitable setbacks. Furthermore, this alignment ensures that your energies are channeled effectively. Every action you take becomes a step toward the progressive realization of your worthy ideal, which in turn adds a layer of fulfillment and meaning to your existence. But what happens when there's a misalignment? A sense of discord or cognitive dissonance arises. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. No matter how hard you push, it just doesn't fit. And this discord can lead to unhappiness, stress, and even a sense of failure, even when you're achieving other markers of success. As you embark on the journey to identify or reevaluate your worthy ideal, remember that it doesn't have to be grandiose or universally acknowledged. It just has to be significant to you. It should resonate with your deepest convictions, highest aspirations, and should ideally be steeped in a value system that you respect. After all, a worthy ideal, as Nightingale pointed out, is personal. It's your compass in the sea of life's possibilities. In the grand tapestry of life, understanding and striving for your worthy ideal is not merely an act of personal fulfillment, but a radical act of self-definition. It's about carving out your own path in a world that often insists on handing you a map, and it's this audacious act that transforms the pursuit of success into a rich, nuanced, and deeply satisfying journey. Having delved into the depths of what constitutes a worthy ideal, it's time to examine the other essential component of Nightingale's formula for success, the progressive realization. After all, what good is having a compass if you're not willing to move? Success is not just about setting a goal, it's about the journey, the continual pursuit and evolution toward that ideal. So let's dig into why progress, in many ways, is the engine that drives the vehicle of success. In various domains of life, be it business, science, art, or personal development, the most revered figures are often those who continually refine their craft. Think of athletes who break records, artists who revolutionize genres, or scientists who make groundbreaking discoveries. What they all have in common is a relentless focus on improvement, a ceaseless striving that embodies the very essence of the progressive realization Nightingale spoke of. Continuous improvement isn't just about big monumental leaps, it's also about small incremental changes that accumulate over time. This is often captured by the Japanese concept of kaizen, which emphasizes the value of small, consistent improvements. Over time, these little advancements add up, creating a snowball effect that leads to substantial growth and, eventually, mastery. In psychological terms, progress satisfies our inherent need for competence, one of the three basic psychological needs identified by self-determination theory. When we see ourselves making headway toward our goals, it fuels our intrinsic motivation, leading us to engage more deeply in the activity at hand. This forms a virtuous cycle where progress fuels motivation, which in turn fuels further progress. Moreover, progress serves as a litmus test, a way to measure the validity and feasibility of our worthy ideal. Sometimes, despite our best intentions, we choose ideals that are misaligned with our capabilities or circumstances. Progress, or the lack thereof, serves as feedback, offering us a chance to pivot or refine our goals, ensuring that our ideals remain not just worthy, but also realistic and attainable. At this juncture, it would be almost criminal not to introduce the groundbreaking work of psychologist Carol Dweck, particularly her concept of the growth mindset. Dweck contrasts a fixed mindset, where individuals believe their abilities are static, with a growth mindset, where individuals see abilities as malleable and improvable through effort. The growth mindset is not just a mental framework, it's a fundamental philosophy that directly affects our approach toward challenges, failures, and ultimately, our worthy ideals. In the landscape of success, a growth mindset serves as the fertile soil where the seeds of progress take root. It encourages resilience, fosters innovation, and mitigates the fear of failure. By viewing challenges as opportunities to grow and effort as the pathway to mastery, individuals with a growth mindset are far more likely to engage in the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. What's beautiful about Nightingale's concept is how it implicitly advocates for a growth mindset. The worthy ideal gives you a direction, while the progressive realization equips you with the attitude and approach necessary for the journey. Together, they create a balanced equation where the ideal serves as the why, and the progressive realization serves as the how. To truly engage in the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, you have to cultivate a love for the process, not just the outcome. Progress becomes not just a means to an end, but a rewarding end in itself. When each day, each task, each challenge becomes a step on the spiraling staircase toward your ideal, then you are not just successful. You are deeply, profoundly engaged in the act of living successfully. In that sense, every moment becomes a victory, every effort a triumph, and every setback a lesson. Now that we've examined the theoretical underpinnings of Nightingale's profound observation, let's get practical. After all, understanding the philosophy and psychology behind success is enriching, but it's the application of these principles that will ultimately manifest your worthy ideal into reality.
Our rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to our contribution, to our service. We all know this, really. We tell our children in Sunday school that as ye sow, so shall ye reap, but we forget that that's true. If a man is unhappy with his rewards, all in the world he's got to do is find ways of increasing his contribution, his service. It's like the story of the preacher who was driving down a country road, and all of a sudden he came to the most magnificent farm he'd ever seen in his life. It was beautiful. And so he saw the farmer approaching the road on his tractor, and so he hailed him, and he said, "My good man," he said, "God has certainly blessed you with a magnificent farm." And the farmer thought for a moment, and he said, "Yes, you're right, he certainly has. But you should have seen this place when he had it all to himself. And the preacher had his sermon for the next Sunday. He realized that all the farmers up and down that road had been given the same land, but one man had made something great out of it. Well, all of us are given the same land. We're given a human life, and each of us can make something great out of it too if we want to.
In this section, we'll delve into actionable steps for goal setting, planning, and tracking your progress, as well as discuss why qualities like resilience and adaptability are indispensable on your journey. Firstly, goal setting should not be an exercise in listing down abstract and ill-defined ambitions. Effective goals are SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Specificity offers a clear vision, measurability allows you to track your progress, attainability keeps you realistic, relevance ensures alignment with your worthy ideal, and a time frame provides a sense of urgency. These SMART goals become the rungs on the ladder towards your ideal, guiding each step you take. For instance, if your worthy ideal is to contribute to medical research, a SMART goal might be: publish a research paper on a breakthrough therapy in a peer-reviewed journal within the next 2 years. This goal is specific, measurable, potentially achievable, relevant to your worthy ideal, and time-bound. Now that your SMART goals are in place, it's time to strategize. Break down your goals into smaller tasks and prioritize them. Use tools like the Eisenhower matrix to distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. Then, allocate your time and resources accordingly. Software and apps like Asana, Trello, or even a simple Excel sheet can be effective tools to keep you organized and on track. The planning phase also involves identifying potential obstacles and coming up with contingency plans. By anticipating challenges, you're not just problem-solving in advance. You're psychologically preparing yourself to face difficulties, thereby reducing the adverse impact they might have on your motivation and progress. Tracking your progress. This is where many people falter, mainly because tracking progress requires a continuous commitment. It's easy to set a goal and even to plan, but the rubber meets the road when you start implementing and assessing. Use key performance indicators, KPIs, or specific milestones to gauge your progress. Keep a journal or use digital tracking systems to monitor how you're doing. The act of tracking is not just for accountability, it also serves as a motivating feedback loop. As much as we'd love for the path toward our worthy ideal to be a straight, obstacle-free road, life usually has other plans. This is where resilience and adaptability come into play. Resilience is about bouncing back from setbacks and failures without losing your sense of purpose or self-worth. Adaptability is about adjusting your strategies and expectations in response to unforeseen challenges without losing sight of your ultimate ideal. Incorporate reflective practices like journaling or mindfulness to build resilience. These help in enhancing self-awareness, thereby empowering you to deal with setbacks in a more balanced way. Adaptability can be fostered by developing a diverse skill set and cultivating a network of mentors and peers who can offer different perspectives when you encounter roadblocks. Your journey towards a worthy ideal will never be a static endeavor. It's a dynamic, evolving process that demands continuous input and adaptability. By setting SMART goals, planning strategically, tracking your progress, and fostering resilience and adaptability, you are equipping yourself with a robust toolkit to make your worthy ideal a reality. Remember, as you navigate the intricate path towards your ideal, each day offers a new opportunity to enact mini successes, to take one more step in the progressive realization of what you find worthy. In doing so, not only do you get closer to your ultimate goal, but you also enrich the journey itself, turning it into a rewarding experience that defines success in the most holistic sense.
At the beginning, I said, what makes a child grow up into the human being he becomes? Well, this is the reason for that. Of course, he's the confluence of a genetic pool that goes back for thousands and thousands of years. His environment has an influence on him, of course. But what makes him become the person he becomes is that he becomes what he thinks about most of the time. It's as simple as that. We become what we think about most of the time, and that's the strangest secret. This is why thinking is so vital. This is why a goal is so important, because we will become that. This is why people who set goals achieve them. The trouble with men is not in achieving their goals. They do that. It's in establishing them. I think it's good to remember that if we just go along with the crowd, we won't wind up with much more than the wish that we could do it all over again, and as far as we know, you can't. If we want to amount to anything as individuals, we need individual goals, individual thinking, individual actions, and we must never conform to the big group. We must love them, we must help them, we must serve them, because our whole success will depend on our ability to do these things. But never lose our own individuality and our identity by permitting ourselves to become submerged in what has historically proved itself to be little more than a suffocating sea of indirection and purposelessness. If we want to emulate someone, fine, but let's be choosy in whose steps we follow. It's the only life we've got. And remember to think. Imagination is everything, and we can become what we can imagine.
As we wrap up this deep dive into the philosophy and psychology of success, let's revisit the profound yet simple Earl Nightingale quote that has served as our compass. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. We've peeled back the layers on this concept, venturing from its traditional definitions, marred by materialism and external validation, to an interpretation that is rooted in psychological and philosophical wisdom. From the Maslow's hierarchy of needs to the influence of existentialism and classical philosophy on the notion of a worthy ideal, we've covered a substantial theoretical ground. But we've also delved into the practical, actionable steps, common pitfalls, and the transformative potential for both individuals and society at large. As we near the end, I want to leave you with this final thought. Understanding success as a journey and not a destination can be the key to a fulfilling life. It liberates us from the shackles of societal expectations, grants us the courage to define our own worthy ideal, and equips us with the tools to navigate the inevitable obstacles we'll encounter along the way. This perspective allows us to engage deeply with our life's work, to build meaningful relationships, and to contribute to a world in dire need of every individual's unique offerings. In this moment of unparalleled complexity, as we grapple with existential threats from climate change to social inequality, never has there been a more urgent need for a comprehensive and humane definition of success. One that honors the dignity of the individual, but also respects the interconnected web of our collective existence. So, as you move forward, ponder on your worthy ideal, because success isn't a distant summit to be conquered, but the very ground you tread upon each day in pursuit of what truly matters. Remember, the more we as individuals commit to our worthy ideals, the more we inch society toward a future that is not just successful in a traditional sense, but also wise, equitable, and compassionate. So let's take this concept beyond mere theoretical discussion. Let's live it, embody it, and propagate it. This isn't just a philosophy. It's a call to action, a blueprint for a life rich in meaning and a world abundant in purpose.